Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Charlotte from At Charlotte's House. I am in my master bath. I have one more project to share with you today. Today I'm talking sliding doors. We have this door into our closet, and I'd love to find a way to close it off so that the humidity from the shower doesn't make its way into our clothes, but we don't really have space to have a full door. For under $100, I'm going to show you how to make a very clean, simple barn door. The first thing you want to do when making your barn door is you want to figure out how you want it to look and what sort of measurements it should have. Go ahead and look around on Pinterest, on the internet, because you'll get a lot of ideas there, but there's different ways that you can mount and hang your door. I'm gonna have my door be about the same size as my door, including the trim, and so that's the measurement that I'm gonna take. You also want to make a note of how deep your trim is. My trim is a full inch, so I'm going to double check my mounting hardware, and I'm going to make sure that that will give me enough space for the door to clear. The most important thing you want to do when you're making your own door is you want to make sure that you pick wood that is in great shape. If you have ever looked through a pile of lumber, then you know that a lot of it is not perfect. For something like this, you need boards that are straight, they don't have any cupping, they don't have any bending, they don't have any bowing, and you can tell if a board is straight if you sort of extend your arm and look straight down it. That gives you the best perspective. I'm going to use my Kreg jig, and I'm going to put pocket holes and some wood glue to hold these boards together. I finished with all my pocket holes, so now I'm going to slowly go with some wood glue, and I'm going to screw each board together. So I finished with all my pocket holes, and I flipped my door over. Now I'm going to measure the length, and I'm going to trim that all at once so I have a nice smooth edge. And I have some trim pieces that I'm going to add to make this door look a little bit more finished. So if my edges aren't perfect, it's not the end of the world, but I'm going to do my best. I have this board clamped in place as a guide, and then I'm just going to run my saw straight as an arrow. I finished screwing in all my pocket holes, and then I've actually flipped the door over. This is the front of the door. I'm going to put a little frame around the edge just to make it look a little more finished. You can see that I have already mitered the corners on the top piece of wood. The other thing that this frame is going to do for me is it's going to reinforce this door a little bit. This is not particularly sturdy as is. You can see that there's a little bit of a shimmy in it, which I don't want. So I'm hoping that with another board across the top and the bottom, that might hold it in place, but I may have to add some reinforcements somewhere else. So you can see I've laid out my trim pieces to make sure they fit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some wood glue on the back, and I'm going to use my brad nailer to attach it. So it's really as simple as that. I'm gonna let this sit overnight for the wood to dry, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll sand it, and I'll caulk the seams, and I'll paint it. I pulled the door up onto these sawhorses so it's a little bit easier for me to work on. As you saw, I put some caulk around the edges, I filled in my nail holes, and then I went ahead and I put some filler on the seams. There was a little bit of a bump where the boards were meeting. This is not very expensive wood. I'm not surprised. I actually don't know that I would have noticed it once I put a coat of paint on, but I figured why not put some wood filler in, I'll let this dry, and then I'll sand the whole thing, and I'll just see if it looks a little bit better. I filled in all the dents and depressions on the front. It feels really nice and smooth. I had Mark help me flip it over. I am gonna sand the back just a tiny bit, just to smooth it out, and I'll give it a coat of paint. I decided not to fill in the pocket holes. The door will never be seen on the back, so what is the point? My door is painted, and now I'm going ahead and I'm going to attach the hardware for the barn door. So I chose this one. It comes with two pretty traditional looking wheels. I love them. These are heavy materials. And so what the instructions say is that you need to measure 2 3/8 of an inch from the bottom of the wheel. Read your instructions, because I bet they're all different. And then I've drilled 2 pilot holes. I wanted my wheels to be right on the frame of the door, so that's another measurement to be aware of, so that you have them equidistant on either side. But I've already pre-drilled my pilot holes. Now I'm gonna flip my door over, and I'm gonna keep installing the hardware. All right, my door is flipped over. I can see where my pilot holes are coming through. And I've gone ahead and I've switched to a spade bit. You want a spade bit or a Forstner bit? For my instructions, I needed 1 inch. Basically, you need to create a recessed hole in the door so that the nuts that you're gonna use to attach the hardware won't protrude from the back and scrape against your wall. They say to drill a hole that's 7/16 of an inch deep. So I've marked that on my drill bit, and I'm going to use these pilot holes as my guide. One down. I flipped my door over again, and now I have a 3/8 of an inch drill bit, and I'm gonna go back down through the pilot holes so that I have somewhere for my lag bolts to go through. So this is the hardware that comes with the kit for each hanger. It's pretty simple. This lag bolt is why I needed to make the recess. So this is going to go up through the hole that I just built, and then I'll put my hanger on top, and I'll be done. The track that came with my barn door hardware is pre-drilled, which is great, but that also means that I have a little bit of a problem because these holes don't line up with the studs that are on my wall. Not a big deal, it just means that I have to install a header that will go into the studs, and then I can screw this onto my header. So this is simply a piece of 1x4 pine that I went ahead and sanded and painted with the same paint that I have on my wall here. I have used a stud finder to find out where the studs are on my wall, and so I can go ahead and I can pre-drill this wood and then install this into my studs. That way I'll have a sturdy foundation into the studs for me to install my barn door track. Stay tuned. This is how the header will look. You can see that with it painted the same color as the wall, you don't really notice it. I have marked the studs. I've gone ahead and screwed in 2. I have it dead level, and I'm just going to finish screwing it in the rest of the way. So I've measured and pre-drilled all the holes in my header. And now I'm going to start at one end of the track, and I'm going to install this. I have my ratchet, I have all my hardware. Wish me luck. So this guy is in. The track is mounted. It feels pretty sturdy. All I need to do now is wait for my husband to get home so he can help me carry the door up here. And fingers crossed, it'll slide and work. So this sliding barn door is amazing. Look, it totally works. It is so smooth sliding on the track. I went ahead and put a towel bar here so that I could have some extra towel storage. I come up here and I just open and close it. This simple door, I don't even think it cost me $50. It was so inexpensive. I think it looks so chic with this new barn door hardware. The whole thing is such a nice feature in the space. I'm just a little bit obsessed with it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about the barn door or other tutorials on my site. Don't forget to subscribe and have a great day. Bye everyone.